Mbia mono sana mwanchi mulie witaseni kia Ndizi TV nebiro binde nendengo kwarigania asomoro bilio bwense yo bonchorelia elinde twimanye aliaganeta gukorekana ase sekte yo mwanchi mulengo kwarigani bene into sanga sobwamo gochaka bona iga goika omoelio chitariki chale ne chitariki 15 mutinyo gatana na gatatu mwako iga bwechirubere 23 bari bakonyara advance ngageta bona iga banyora advance igo mubuko at least no ichirake igo mwanchi muri genda gusanga ninto asomoro biriga otumanyenga yoko bwati umoroberi koruna boigo na rero chagenda tagoncheria ase sector yo bonchiri mwanchi muri na mange toralika gokorekana aitora chigukwanira litko lyarereka turochinga wizari ria sense moyo bosombi yabetege kumirana n'abasubati n'amono kinga cya serikali genda tagusira Ense meli yobwaga chiga abasubati mbaroro baeso kiribo bwato bomanyika bisa abara chigokonyeka wetera umurobiri rwa serikali bokuagacha anene mono ya sense meli ye chinyomba go mwanchi muri ndo chikumanya mange nare yagenda tegokorekana a sense meli nabo igonga kya basubati berule ko eneke ngango korabale mirime na kwenyorera engere yabo kono mwanchi muri tete kunyilenga nabo kwenda gutubwati asinsemo chichi mitandao asensemo ya Facebook gwetera Ndizi TV News Digital nabega sensemo ya YouTube gwetera Ndizi TV News asensemo ya website nabako tunya gwetera www.ndizitv.net retera Fridah Kerubo yenda gusangana intwe nabo igogwetera sena mbiga base screen yago utumenyenga yoko bwati umurubiri ko reno mwanchi murira tetra so sensemere ya Safaricom reno tuguchakira sensemeri torigereria nga Safaricom yabage kobeka charges chinya kera gukora chi transaction chiago either kera gukora withdrawals ose ekera gutumira umuntu chibesa kurwa se registered numbers or unregistered numbers Omanchi mulina boko manyanga ngesa Safaricom impose new charges na kia sense moyago yabere na nabanchirira bali konye bako gacheni baya basempesa na boko to manyanga has it affected your business in one way or the other igo manchi muri sanga na intwe otomanyanga charges chinya cha Safaricom asense meria mpesa tari kare kwa ko Rusia ko Rusi below 100 I think it was free okorusi 100 bob kwa menya kona chwe transaction cost ya 10 bob warega chakinire go manchi muri nabo gotomanya akorende asense meri ya Safaricom naende bono igo regulation sincha beda chikokorekana kurwa sense meri ya Central Bank of Kenya sababu retigo babe bako impress competition actually kato kurigereria kora sense mo chi bank ose chibengi nchibwate mobile ngokora bari mobile transactions botumike simu yako ta lazima oenda saving yo bange line obeko ko rusibesti yago gose gutumira umuntu ngotumike ole simu yago ntobate mobile banking nabo igo Safaricom yabetege kubekirwa a limit gose umuntu uri gutumike line ya Safaricom nabekirtu mo especially M-Pesa anabekirtu a limit yo gutumika chibesa aserituko it was 300,000 tubona tugwetani limit korinda bono iga mbabete bako increase transaction limit weika 500,000 ichanchibe sobona to transact aserituko singi chaki batete ko impress ya competition na digital technology asense meri inyoro manchi mulira engakinero toigete mo especially engakiyoborere bwa corona ekero covid-19 yarenge ntuachite cashless no gutumika yani turiko gutumika besa yani chiri okwana nanga besa okoboko gutumika maybe simu yago gutuma chibesa korende bakaranga enseme yumbe yale gokori na ndengo kini yarenge GDP sense meri ya Safaricom abono igana ndemba tete ku impress umurobelio yo kegera bono baruchinga Safaricom nendo bokorerwa bwachakire kwira nanse abono batete ba compete ne chibengi nakiba bakora chi transaction chabo igo ikira bonega a limit ya Safaricom ya kinire ko 300,000 oika sense meri ya 500,000 mwanchi muri enda chikomanya sense mo ya Worldcoin na kia sense meri ya data protection na kibabete bakurugo chika kwabo nyoru mwanchi muri elia abantu babiri bagusikanirwa amaiso nakoyo guchibesa naenda abantu babiri bakorwa personal details ochia sense meri ya Worldcoin omonchu muri na betengo kumenya nga Worldcoin ne yachagete mwaka 2021 igabu korende buna bonjure bonde bensibogo chaka tichiti kubwata naende bakacha bakabeka new tactics una monjure onde bwensi arabeke into bya yarabiroberia erinde ku attract customer nabarobono bagacha kumuroberi omunye boko register chimemba chiabo cha sense meri ya Worldcoin kondo mwanchu muri na betengo umirana n'abantu bakego garabo bole by the way Worldcoin yiganga kigasi akaba bakomenya nga Worldcoin na benka okugora una chi shares okugora coin yamo online kwa bagacha kero kwa gachire coin eyo nabo kugora chinyinge depending nerigorire chi coin eyo na rire kwa gacha kero kwa gachire mwanchu muri kwa ganya rigorire chi coin sere bikine kero yakindire nae kwone kero lirense okugora kero yakinire nae kwone kwanyori faida kulinda abantu barona ruchi bakorera nga for now mtandao wa Worldcoin ose website ya Worldcoin mbali ku access any chibe cyabo sisha cyabo babere bakobacha mbali ku access kubatkana no gusiko na yara sige to segeka otukibara akorekana ebintu binde bingo manchula kintu chukumanya nga asense media data protection na kibara bwa sense yabo na kibabete bakurwa ubuchika kwabo kubwatikana na Worldcoin asoko register abantu asense ya Kenya gusoko register chimemba chiabo kero mwanchu muri iri kunyura nga mondo tayo bitariti mondo gusa Worldcoin it was willing na ndi baroba bete bakurwa information yabo personal information yabo lakini korende mwanchu muri astoko ebolinga egegaso gusikanya maiso ngai kwarwerete nyenjo kiero ra sense meri gusikanya maiso mwanchu muri enda usanga ngibirenga libya gotumanye nga nseme ya Worldcoin nege ndoro chekerele jiti birenga libya bombiri byebi wetera sina mbiriga bose screen yabo sinsemo chichemichandala nsemo ya Facebook wetera Ndizi TV News Digital anabega sense meri YouTube wetera Ndizi TV News wanjimuli tutuska sense mende atobiri tokorera mirobelio akeguchaki wa ne serikali yarukuliria housing levy ya chakabene ibantu gali bagenda takuligireria na kyobwa gachibishi nyamuro chakokwaikana naende nginchi yaye neri yeye torire asense melinde serikali ngende tagusira abalimi wetera kwena n'ubuyo I think ngende takone kids food security asense ya Kenya torucha sechinse manchiro na nyabono igali gesali abeye chinse manjiro twaro cy'abantu bagenda tago stream ni ndagira oboro kwendagira ko umuchando anamana ko chinse machi cyacukana kajiado stilo markera nororo yabantu kora chinse machi nonye metege gasoro ngoro usie abantu abange basamwire kitale kunyanza region abantu basamwire lakini korinde asinaro chinsemo encharere ego serikali yabereye ko Gusii abalimi kwaene kyanga kera bamusimike ndagira mbali go strain ene nchira ya moyo kwaene kyanga obuyo kugora bale seliwe Ense baba bakolema aboigo kwaene kyanga matukabo siyongo nyara bali rigesa lireligia atobito kana asense machinde school feeding program ya berike guchaka mbaga tubakanyare challenge kwanyaranga omwana ko school gusomwana kurunga atali etikende oike school na bwenete basoma so ikabe challenge sana serikali chikaunti chiro na chabe chiku adapt murobiri yeso kane kinga lunch time abarki wa manyara bali ndagira nabo igastinse mochinde mbara baba ko adapt inde tebne county ya Nairobi bachakira murobiri ibene atengo tare sa sense media kabere studio to ibo murai Ense na kira okwana kubatikana n'emirubiri yonse binaberingo kwanira sensemo y'obulimi asensemo yokwena n'endagira uchiskuru no biga sensemo y'obwagati bw'ekinyumba wanchumuye teto sensemo yakabere studio tusangia sowamu.
I am moved by what you want to do for the young people of Kenya, and it is the very reason why I am ready to pay any price to have a plan on how to create opportunities for the young people of Kenya. Many people were wondering. I have many questions. Why are you pushing this housing agenda? What is these houses? Who told you we need a house? We all have houses. What is this? Good people, I have said it before, I will say it again in church. It wasn't so much about the houses. It was so much about the jobs for the young people of Kenya. We have never had a comprehensive program, deliberate, intentional, to create opportunities for the young people of Kenya to have a job, to have an income. I'm very happy that this time round, we not only have a plan, we have clear interventions, we have money to do it, and we have a clear plan on how to create jobs in the housing program, create jobs in the digital space, create jobs exporting labor, create opportunities in our agro-processing and value addition. That is a plan we intend to make sure that our young people have hope, they have income, they have a future. Zamara has been, when I was running the campaign, they came to me. Zamara and other people in that space came to me and told me, listen, something I already knew, but they came to reinforce that as a country, we are not doing very well in the space of saving. And yet the Bible says, all of you know, Proverbs 13:22 says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That tells you a bad man what he does. And continues to say, but the wealth of sinners is stored for the righteous. Right? So we were not in good space in terms of building our savings. In fact, they told me, which is true, our savings as a percentage of GDP is below 10%. Savings in other jurisdictions is 25, 30, 40. In fact, in China, it is 55% of GDP. So they told me we have to change this because part of the challenge we have of borrowing is because we do not have savings. Therefore, we go to borrow from others who have saved. And I promised them that I was going to do something because it is something I believed in. I'm happy that today we've changed the metrics and we are now doing what we should have done 15 years ago in the space of savings. And I'm very proud that I can now tell you that the money we saved in NSSF, and Raymond would know, is about 350 billion shillings in the last 60 years. But because of the new formula that we have agreed and we have begun implementing the last 4 months, we are going to double that money, the 350 billion. We are going to double that money in 4 short years. And in a very short while, maybe 10, 15 years, we would not need to borrow from elsewhere. We can borrow our own money as Kenyans. And thank you, church, and many people who step in spaces where government would actually be expected to step in. But you have stepped in to feed our children, to give them hope, to give them a future. I also want to tell you, Mom, what you are doing, the children you're supporting, and many of you are seated here, you may not necessarily have contributed to what Mom is doing in Kikambala. But the good news is that the government of Kenya has given you an opportunity to do it. This year, we are going to use our taxes to make sure that 4 million children go to school and have a meal. 4 million children who otherwise would not go to school, who otherwise would not attend class because they do not have something to eat. So, and in this city of Nairobi, we've agreed with the governor, we're going to feed 250,000 kids in the city of Nairobi, especially from the informal settlements when they go to school. We've started that program already. And so, to give hope to many other children out there, and to tell you as people who pay taxes in our country, just know that you will be feeding 4 million of our children, especially in the dry areas of Kenya, in the informal settlements of Kenya, and we are working with governors and others to scale up and see whether we can reach 6 million kids going into the future. That apart from doing what we must do to feed our nation, and I want to thank our farmers. Farmers are the most patriotic people I have come across. And by the way, you cannot be a farmer if you do not believe in God, because you need tons of faith to be a farmer. And this year, our farmers have grown beyond what they did last year, 200,000 acres of land to produce food. We want to thank God for our farmers. We want to really thank God for our farmers. They are doing a phenomenal job, and we will support them.
Biake gima mwanchu murigereria oinero murai wense chinga kyagendete kuboria Bakenya babe bakogacha enibo yabo bunenchire yamo oyogokeani ogokabesa korwa chinse chechesko nabo igasabere gakweneke nga omurubiri bokwagacha chinyomba no chigosira Bakenya animo na soko eneke buna kwenyorera bale amabaga yemirimo amwanchu muri toske mutu asense mende asitokumulikira naki obokoleri bwekisako tobe tokoranga abantu babiri bakubekana mo ko gochaki ebyombe nabo igasense mende gochaki kisako sengencho yokoegendera timete mwanchu muri osino bwate kyombe iskogari gosesako iskogari soko enekyanga ngogachora kanibo kawo gakeiga kokako gokonya matukabusio igabasubati korwa sedini yege Islam korwa sense mele ya Western ambabete bagochakia esako eyokorwa nga Western Kenya Muslim sako asingencho kogacha enibo yabo Antwaruche ng'a omu prime cabinet Musalia Mudavadi nabeteka goikaga sinse meche akabaga kubanikiri ng'a serikali ya Kenya Kwanza nere tayari asogosira abasubati asing'encho yokwegenda omonchi muri tobe tokora matuka mange chipesa chikubekwa sensemo obuna Women Enterprise Fund abasubati asing'encho yokwegenda ndumete ng'a abasubati kero bachakire gento goikaba pya bakorosia eni bakora sense meligo nabeteka kobao koboko asing'encho yokogendereria esake yo mwanchi muri abo igo nabeteka gokwanera igoro ye chikampuni chesukari tabete okora amatuka amange ng'a chikampuni nchirororo chiabete chikuru osogo chikagokorwa ego ng'a chibe chigosiekwa na ndi ntoroche ng'a rigorire esukari buna rigendete gotira omwanchi muri ire torere ng'a abaremi ba emesi babeire bakorera segeka asing'encho ng'a chikampuni chigosiekwa ekiagera nabo ogosemere kwabo ase ogosimeki na obonia bwa emesi nabeteka gokwanera ng'a emeroberi kia serikali begendete kobeka sokonekia ng'a chikampuni chiesukari korwa sensemeri ya Western nkobachire chikorosigwa bene gose emichanderi yabere chigotwara ngosonsorwere nabo igokwenekia obokoreri obuya manchi muri tango tosange nensemeri korwa sensemeri ya Western erinde toigwe ng'a asensema yabo ng'a kibachagitie sake yo ngosiro kibabere bakunyora nabo igona ari yari barengete ko goikerania asa matuka bosio.
Ladies and gentlemen, with great honor and respect, we gather to celebrate the incredible achievements of women. It is a testament to the dedication, knowledge, and devotion that each and every woman member of this group must be proud of their journey to enhance their understanding of the Holy Quran and belong to a circle. I am really proud to see such a huge number of women from this region come together under unity of purpose. This is a rare feat that others should emulate. Additionally, we must congratulate you for your faith in a unifying tool such as the Holy Quran. This is a great example in having faith and believing in the noble book that holds a special place in the hearts and minds of Muslims worldwide. Such faith serves as a guide, a source of spiritual nourishment, and a beacon of wisdom. Such faith informs us that the Holy Quran is also not just a book, but a way of life that embodies profound teachings and principles. The women participants we honor today have spent countless hours, days, and years delving into the depths of the Quranic verses, mastering the art of tajweed, and striving for excellence. Their commitment to this noble pursuit deserves our utmost admiration. Kwa mama, nyinyi ndio nguzo zetu, na sisi tutashikana, tutafanya kazi pamoja, nataka niwahakikishie. Na leo mmesikia mama kutoka eneo hii ambaye ni gender advisor. Yeye atashirikiana na nyinyi, Harriet Chigai na Hadija na wale wengine wote ambao wako hapa wakurugenzi, watuongoze kwa hiyo njia ili tupate nafasi nzuri. Mambo ya mazingira, environment, wakati huu ulimwenguni, mambo ya climate change, kuhakikisha kwamba hatuangamii. Rais amemteua Rashid Mohamed kusimamia mambo ya water towers katika Kenya nzima. Survival of the nation is about climate change. Survival of the world is about climate change. Amempatia huyu nafasi ya kusimamia pale. Jameni, let us be very serious that this nation is no longer a nation that is putting the Islamic faith and community in the back burner. They are on the front line They must be on the front line and they shall always be on the front line. Hapo ndio tunataka. Jambo lingine katika eneo hii ya magharibi, Mheshimiwa Omboko aligusia. Juzi katika baraza la mawaziri mliona taarifa ile inaitwa cabinet dispatch. Cabinet imezungumza, imesema kwamba kulikuwa na utata mwingi tukizungumzia mambo ya privatization ya sugar industry. Watu wanakuwa na wasiwasi kwamba labda ardhi ya Mumias, ardhi ya Nzoia, ardhi ya zile sugar factories zingine zinaweza zikanyakuliwa na watu wengine. Kwa hivyo kwa serikali ya Mheshimiwa Ruto amesema kwamba kufufua hizi factory na kuhakikisha kwamba ardhi ya zile communities haipotei, tutatumia model ya leasing of those sugar factories. Na ukilease sasa land haiwezi kaenda na mwingine, inabaki kwa wenyeji na ni lease tu wanapewa. Alafu mambo tuangalie vile tutafufua zile factories. Ndio sasa tuhakikishe kwamba mashamba ama ardhi ambayo ilitolewa na wakaaji wa sehemu hii haitaenda kwa mikono ya watu wengine. Hiyo ni lease, lakini waendeshe mafactory, lakini lease ya shamba inahakikisha shamba inabaki kwa wenyeji. That is the position, na hiyo wabunge watazungumza zaidi ili tuokoe factories zetu katika Kenya nzima kwa mambo ya sukari. Hatutaki ni fujo. Na nataka niwaibie siri leo. Kwa sababu watu wakifanya maandamano wanafikiri ni mchezo. Ile fujo ilikuweko mwaka wa 2007, 2008, na nataka mchukue hii kabisa. Kuna wafanyabiashara wa East African Community kutoka Uganda kupitia kwa sheria walistaki serikali ya Kenya kwa sababu mali yao iliharibika. Wale wafujo wakachoma mali yao, magari yakaharibika, matrailer, biashara zikaharibika, wakapoteza profit. Walienda kotini. Ndugu wa Islamu, mnajua nini kimefanyika? Wameshinda kesi. They have won the case against the Republic of Kenya for the loss and damage to their property because of chaos and destruction. Sasa wewe hapa unafikiri kwamba maandamano hayatuhusishi. The claim in question is over $150 million. They have won the case. Wewe niambie, serikali ya Kenya kulipa hiyo itatoa wapi pesa? Si ni ushuru? Si ni ushuru? Sasa wewe kwa sababu ya ile fujo, wewe umeongezewa deni na wale wenye kuleta fujo la $150 million plus kwa sababu ya ujinga ya wale watu kuharibu mali ya watu. This is a very serious matter. Kwa hivyo wewe unafikiri kwamba tukifanya maandamano na nini tukiharibu mali ya watu, saa zingine unafikiri ni hapo tu local kwa kijiji hapo. My friend, the damage is bigger. Imeharibu. It has added another liability to the people of Kenya. It has added another debt of over $150 million to the people of Kenya. Kwa sababu ya fujo. Na wale kuelekeza wenye hiyo fujo, ukiwapelekea hiyo bill, hawatalipa. Watasema hiyo ni bill ya serikali. Na serikali ni ya mwananchi. Yani wameleta fujo na bill ni yako. tuachane na huu mtindo, tuwe watu ambao tunaheshimu sheria, na tulisema Kenya is not a failed state. Kenya is not a failed state. Wale wana shida sasa, mnaweza muone yale yanafanyika Niger kule West Africa. Huko ndio kuna shida. Huko ndio kuna vita. In Kenya there is no failed state. We have had elections. We have a president. We have a government. Institutions are working. Systems are working. Hii porojo ya kujaribu kusema kwamba this is a failed state, you want an international mediator. Hapana, Kenya does not require an international mediator. In fact, tungependa hata wakina Obasanjo wakishamaliza kutatua shida za upande ule.
Mbiyamana sana mwancho mulebeta seni kia Ndizi TV chinga kitoka ndetagosanga emiyo morobilyo bwense yobonchirira chibije cyabere chikorwa sembeo nababwatani korwa sesako ya Western Kenya Muslim Sako abagendete kwera obokoleri bwabo nabagemerobili ya serikali asoko enekimna ankwira ne bali kampuni chieskali nabagokwene obokoleri obya Mancho mulili antwaroche ase county ya Uasin Gishu antwaroche serikali yereto morobelio ligali asoko ligali ya obokoleri gesa chi serikali chi county chabete chigo cyo mancho mulili nabwo tumenya kura se county yago namagenderara yali kwaberego kwenekia ase gwesa chi county chibeko mancho mulili nabwo tumanyanga obokoleri ase county yago na kibwabere ningikiriyo chikyabere ke gwoncholi ase county ya Uasin Gishu amenye bense miyumba bete bagukwanira amange ayibarolire ka gwoncholia anemona kerokoli ya sense moyo bwaga chibwe chipara ne environment ngima nabokoleri nga amonchuri narororo abere gakobo mwanchumulire ego tumanyingo kurase county yago ana kioroche obokoleri bwabe irororo ngikirioroche kyabereke gwoncholia gesa serikali che county chicha kono mwanchumuli muri buri yono bete ko gwikirana litukuri igoro asora chikokolekana asamatuka 3 asomochuler direct kulende ko irumoro buri gocha se county ya Uasin Gishu no bete ko kobo yuwenye nchomono anemono asabo nchirike kegero mwanchumulira abanta bange nigo babete baga book chi hotel ase bakorara aseba koragera go tebanga essence mo yoboncheria yabetege kogari yoboncheria aboncheria bali essence mo chimba bete ba konyora li samora igo uchumi yense meri yabeteke gukina metimo nchumulie tokora sanga nabamenye bense meri nabarobato tebinga essence mo yabo ngaki yabete.
Mimi kama mkazi wa Uasin Gishu mimi nataka kusema najivunia kwa mambo ya devolution kwa sababu imeleta mabadiliko katika sekta ya afya kwa sababu katika county ya Uasin Gishu tuko na level 4 hospitals 2-3 zinaendelea zikijengwa. Pia mimi nataka kusema katika county hii ya Uasin Gishu tumeweza kuajiri walimu wa chekechea zaidi ya 1000 ambao wako sasa kwa permanent and pensionable ambayo haingewezekana kama devolution haingekuwa. Mambo ya mabarabara katika county yetu ya Uasin Gishu tunaona zinaendelea zikijengwa na kabla devolution ije mabarabara ilikuwa ni shida uchukuzi kwa mavuno yetu kama maziwa, mahindi ilikuwa ni shida sana. Na sisi tunataka kusema kama wakaji wa county ya Uasin Gishu tunakaribisha wageni wote katika county hii ya Uasin Gishu. Tuko tayari kuwakaribisha kwa njia ya amani, tuko tayari kuwakaribisha kwa sababu devolution as a success story to be told by many residents of Uasin Gishu County. Mimi nataka kusema devolution conference kufanyika Uasin Gishu imeleta manufaa kubwa kwa sababu hata mahoteli ambazo ziko katika county yetu ya Uasin Gishu tayari ziko booked zote. Magari yetu yako tayari kufanya transportation. Governor wetu wa Uasin Gishu nataka kushukuru kwa sababu amefanya kuhakikisha usafi na mambo ya hali ya security kwa wageni wetu imeweza kutekelezwa. So kuna biashara mingi, kuna manufaa mengi sana ambayo yatapatikana katika kaunti yetu ya Uasin Gishu.
Kwanza kabisa ningesema kwa majina naitwa Mary Birgen na nataka kusema kwamba hii devolution imetuletea sura nzuri ama sura mpya katika Uasin Gishu County. Ukitembea kule town utapata kwamba mabuildings zimeweza kutengenezwa, zinang'ara, zinavutia na hata watu ambao wanafanya mabiashara wameingia sasa hata kwa biashara wakiongoja wale wageni ambao watakuja. Na nataka kusema kwa wageni wote wale watatoka katika nchi hii, hata nchi za ng'ambo, tunawaambia kwamba tunawaongoja na tuko tayari kuwapokea, na tunataka kuambia kwamba karibuni hapa Uasin Gishu, tukuje tutembee, mabarabara zimetengenezwa na tunaona kwamba watapata muda mzuri wa kuweza kukua hapa.
Mimi ni mkaaji wa katuzi hili la Uasin Gishu. Tuko na furaha kukaribisha ili kongamano. Ni kongamano ambalo italeta sura mpya katika ugatuzi hili letu. Tunafurahi, tunashukuru gavana wetu Jonathan B kwa kuhakikisha kwamba katuzi hili limefanyika katika hili katuzi letu la Uasin Gishu. Tumefurahi, tuko na amani, imeandaliwa kweli kweli. Tunaambia wageni wetu ambao tunawatarajia karibuni, amani hipo. Ili ni katuzi ambalo rais wetu Daktari William Samoei Ruto anatoka, na tungependa kuambia wageni kwamba mtakuja mufurahie, muone hata environment ambayo Ruto mwenyewe alilelewa, ambapo tuko na shule ya upili wa Reng ambayo iko tu karibu na hapa mahali. So wageni watapata nafasi ya kutembelea kule waone.
Biemana sana mwanchu muri ebitheseni kya Ndizi TV. Abo nabamenyi kurase county ya Uasin Gishu ababere bakwerera obukoreri ase county yo nabo igochinga cy'umurubiri bete kwekirana asense meri obuya bwo murubiri yo. Kondo mwanchu muri tawasa sense mende ni gotokuligeria na ke wizara y'obosombi yabetege kumirana n'abasubati abo bare asense meri yo bwagachi. Mwanchu muri rekero kuligeria omwaziri bw'obosombi Kipchumba Murkomen abeteka kwekirana ase chinsemekyo asabeteka kweneke nga 51% yaba Kenya kero kuligeria abasubati bali ya sensemeri ya artisan nigere 3% na ndekero kuligeria sensemeri ya abasubati bali engineer nigere 7.3%. Kero kuligeria nga abasubati bali bakoye osibale akoye guchi contractors obwagacho osibale tokuruga nga chi contractors nigere 15.5%. Ndekero kuligeria nga bali registered na chi surveyors na body ya Engineers of Kenya nabo konyaranga nigo bari 17%. Kero kuligeria nigo bari gusigeta abasubati baso asense meri obwagachi mwanchu muri chinse chinde abakenya bakuligeria nga obwagachi inere emirimo y'abasacha akulinde na ndabasubati nigo babeire bakomento chinguru asoko enekya ngango so barashinse mu chinyore serikali watu murubiri bukwagacha chinyomba igo abasubati abange mbaga nirigo so ashinse mechi asenyencho yo ko enekya ngango enyorera bali emirimo nabo igo ko egendereria igekaro chinga kibali gukwana bali kuligeria obukoreri bw'abasubati asense moyo bwagachi mbaro chinga ebirengo by'abasubati asoko so ashinse mo chiri mbere insekigima sibabire bagusegeta abasubati abake koimukia chikosa neno mono chiri chiobwaga chesense meri goso asinse mo chicha TVET koimukia chikosi chiga chia maboko asinge nchoko konyeka amatukabo simo nchumulinde tusange na barabo toyuna arasense mo yabona kibakoerera.
According to 2022 report by DALBA and the International Development Research Center, only 3% of artisans are women, while a paltry 7.3% of engineers registered by the Engineers Board of Kenya and 15.5% of contractors and 17% of registered quantity surveyors are women.
Government's agenda on housing and settlement has opened doors for those skilled in construction work. The government agenda on technical and vocational education and training serves to advantage of young women and girls interested in being in the construction industry. Government is currently constructing over 250,000 plus houses annually. And this is an area where women can leverage and be able to get into the construction industry.
60 years down the line, we can talk about political independence, political freedom, social independence, and so many other things. we are struggling with economic independence because women have not been at the forefront. It is our challenge this time round to do all it takes to help this country now achieve economic independence.
Mwanchi murireria wikirabu teatora soso mutimokomukia igo tuska tonyegera angwira na tuli asege kege Kerubo sio elinde togendera gusanga imiyo murubilio wense yoboncherelia.
Ndizi TV, Uwansu, Gusii. The Ultimate Kids Carnival Week imerudi tena kwa kishindo zaidi katika hoteli ya Camel Park kuanzia tarehe 15 hadi 20 mwezi huu. Kutakuwa na face painting, zipline tour, car ride, tag of war, boat racing, goal target, kuogelea, modeling, sack racing na nyingine nyingi. Zawadi zitakuwa kemkem kama vile t-shirt, miavuli, water bottles, vinywaji na snacks. Na washindi wawili watapata trip kwenda Masai Mara. Mzazi, mpe mtoto wako na nafasi hii. Piga simu kwa nambari 0714386594 ama 0714915354 kwa kujiandikisha. Kumbuka, michezo hii yote itakuwa live Ndizi TV kuanzia saa 5 hadi saa 10 jioni. Hafla hii ni kwa ushirikiano wa Camel Park Adventures, Ndizi TV, True Foods, Choco Primo, Zesta na KCB. Ndizi TV, Uwansu Gusii, nigo bono ya nikirundekerene, nego kurendera, chibiche chinkia, na boigo chinkeno nukukigima, na bogo tonyora, asoro gonkorbo Gusii, neji kaunti chito etanaine. Una, kaunti ya Kisii, Nyamira, Homa Bay, Bomet, Kisumu, Migori, nechisemo chinde chinyinge. Nigo kotonyora, asite kode ya Star Times, Channel 195, Go TV, Channel 824, na free to air decoders, Digital TV, na Smart TVs. Scania TV yao na boigo onchore ilio yao igo iko yenyore. Ndizi TV nigo turine kirenga ekio korentera emerubuli merunge chinka kichonsi. Ndizi TV Uwansu Gusii. Kuikira bono ayabunu mwagachi kwa manyire duka okogenda kujia bintu byose biriugo kolere merimo yao. Osmo Traders Limited nigo babuate chitari chokwaranse ase nyumba yao nabo igo kubeka sinyasi bune babu egikoni living room nabo igo echikobe kwesiko babuate sanitary wares buna chising chibakuri chete chochonsi showers, towel holders, soap dishes, racks, mirrors na hand basins. Chirangi chonsi chiria chikuburukanibwa ne computer na boigo chiriche spray paints no chire mbabuate chipboard buna chips and boards, MDF boards na chip boards. Hebinto au bio kora plumbing buna PVC joints, PVC pipes na chi water taps chonsi no chire. Boigo na boku gura chi curtain rods, hood screws, chingulu chonsi, door locks, chi pipe wrench spanners, screwdrivers, banyore, old Sansura building, angena Kisii main bus stage, gusua Kisimi, ase namba, enoti sano naibire, eye mokianda, inye isano, enoti inye isano nemo. Osmo Traders Limited, customer satisfaction guaranteed. Television ya Ndizi TV nigo yakoreteire obukoreri bwaye gwikagisieri na munwa bono genda asaba agenti baito abubare yange na sore kigima onyoro bukoreri na bwiginchira yugutwikira asokoraria kugukwa ukoraria wokwenyoria ukoraria kuobonchoria ukobekirwa omoyego bwenyangi amatanga nonya nukoiburwa gusumu sangirikano gisiasa nonya nikero mangana magia atekire asetivi ya nambeyemo yomunwa bweke Gusii ekeruri me yomuchuke birigo imeye county ya Nyamira genda ebisora electronics yere assistage kebirigo kogende ikonge imeye imeje town ya Nyamira genda aseduka ya Rimos Electrical and Electronics ere opposite Public Works. Imeje town ya Itumbe genda Nayo Lights Office Computer and Cyber Services. Imeyomo Chibuo Gembo genda ase hardware ya Moja Hardware ere opposite Coca-Cola. Imeyomo Chumogonga genda Farmers Choice Agrovet ere Estejigoro asegeteseni kia maguta yichigari. Imeyomo Chunyamache genda seduka ya Limchem Pharmacy and Cosmetics iliyonyoro bukoreri bwaito. Ase town ya Masimba nigoko genda ase duka ya Peter Fashions nigere ase stage ya Masimba guchakeroka. Na boigo imeyomo chokeroka genda ase duka ya Nyaituga Bookshop Limited ere ange na Cooperative Bank. Ndizi TV bono nigo ya kuangwa irerie na gukoretro bukoreri bwaye ange na sore. Chinyagetari Njiraroro Korende Ram Hospital Kisii nebwate birenko bigoro byobokoreri asubo bwenia egati yobokoreri babwate namona in and out patient MCH clinic Gusii maternity nabogo kora consultation babwate pharmacy ultrasound CT scan ngokora bale x-ray dialysis nkobwenya bale emechando ya maino naboigo amangana yebirole bya maiso uko baruogoke gosoko baruokonene naboigo mbabwato bukoreri bwa ambulance chinsemero ngibirinainye mbabwate chinchira au chugwakanira egati yabo chire NHIF AON Dental na Linda Mama asebali yabagutumia NHIF tibali guhakana besa chinde chigoro magiga yoko bweniwa buna inpatient naboko batalera asenyegetari yabo ya Ram Hospital iyuerange nekigambiro kia Kisii Low Codes Gusii wa kiresimi ase namba enotisano ibire enotisano ibere isato kianda ibere isano neisato kianda. Ram Hospital Kisii, health first and health always. Esukuru yokwegelio Burundi bw'Kigali ya Rocky Driving School nige gukomanya buna mpabwatu bukoreri ubya asibirengo ao byo Burundi bw'Kigali nabo kwegera ekerengo gya A2 B1 B automatic B professional C light track D1 echuchire PSV Uburundi bw'Kimatatu cha 14 seater D2 PSV Uburundi bw'Kibus CE heavy trucks F PWD Chiabantu bali nobarema bwigomba bwate short courses cha BCD na B executive obuye bw'okwegira na Rocky Driving School mbulye buna ebirasi byabo nigo biri flexible chinga kichere cyonsi uratakase rituko nigo bagosomya omwaka mugima aborokia babo nigo banjire n'ikiumbe kiriye gikurira y'ubusera bw'Uburundi bw'Kigali gia NTSA buyo nkwegirule aseze mu yemesa basic mechanics basic first aid na yanda mange batalire imeyurugongo Gusii asebali imeyumucho Kisii asenyumba ya Market Plaza irange na Uhuru Plaza chinsage chinde nigochire asemeche ya Nyakoe ensemo ya Kyoge Junction na boigo asumucho Kilgoris mbabwati special offer bono asebali bakolire ekerasigia form 4 mwakeresimi umu manager Rocky Driving School. Kero muntu nabwato muganoye kurweibolitwe goikasa ikireboniga kurenden kero igentekemo kebwatana numugano yomo guchia sumugano kabiri negentekyo nomukia bwogwe tomakigima
Bemo no manju muri on this TV karanda to kubwati mu rubiri bumugano ne rodori na Lydia Sofia karanda to toera no to korendra bageni bakirengenjo mugano toera mugano ye ototeina nkia korire na nkia to kora asense yoko gagira kirali tuko lya Jumatano wojagira chinse ibire chamarwaba yona riri bageri abene gukware ni asenjera ya bena kero
ekerenge kenene kyumurubulyo bwomuganone no kurwugusigeta buchia sumuntonde elionera nyale bwetoma gwikibirengo byigoro
lakini ngaikangalira ngotebo monenone abona chagitega Yesu nae tata umutori bwo bukima bwane ganti ke bungu eke ukoigura higa
yego
uigoro kunure igengoreye ibintu bire maho musunta me bikoreki bisoke
tonya watu aseri u uchisikege ita akara mamukorera igatenentie gari ekaratenentie gari akamote shija konigana nabango kwa naigo mama kumweresere gana iga sio chambura
Yentekanga na kigura Nairobi 150 shillings.
Brighton Makore ni gairire ribagerio na guisaransa n'abantu ao eriogo korentera emegano yabo ekerole asumu chibwogembo nechise muchietanaine eduka ya Mark Electricals Wholesale eyere registered contractor nigeko ni achi floodlights chonsi distribution box chikebo chonsi cha wiring cable dropping cables ni chindi chinyige mbabwate power extensions sockets switches chimita boxes lamp holders, insulating tapes, conduit pipes, showers, testers, pliers, earth rods, solar monitoring lamps, solar floodlights, CCTV cameras, TV wall brackets, main switches, cutouts, circuit breakers, consumer unit, snake lights, cable ties, changeover switches, nebyobu byonsi, goikabire bya fluorescent tubes, TV aerials, cooking electrical coil, natural gas burner. Banyore imeyumu chibwogembo ange ne stage asegeteseni yokobekira chigali amaguta ya mko. Gosoba keresime ase namba enotisano ibere isano nisato isato eyemo kianda isano inye gose enotisano na ibere isano na isato ibere maragatato eyemo isano na isato Mark Electricals Wholesale asobo korelie burange na sore asegatia ito ntubwata abantu bali nobolema nabantabwa mbabwata magani yabo mbabwate byewa mbasomete nabuigo mbatagitama baga asemeremo nakubwatisiwa asubugima bwokera lituko
inyura obolema igorobole inyura kerema nkerikose kwa inyura ekerema ngechiche
nakyo gekogera asumurubulyo bwobolema asubugima Jared Wilberforce niga gukoretera ensemo iliyotamanyiti igoro yabo
turabe tugwesemia kwemanyia na kwegokia ase amanganonsi pi ali arengete abantu baito abali nobolema ayekwarorire bagotenga
kera rituko ria Jumanne chinsa isano nemo chia mogaso no moiroro rituko ria Jumapili chinsa isato nenusu chia butuko oborema asubugima imeya Ndizi TV. Ndizi TV ubwansu bw'umugusii.
Mwanchi muliene ndengo kwaligania asensemo ya kabere chinga anga Mancho muri yango sabo kwabera ase obututukano bwa Mario yayo kolende asensemeli mitambo baenekiringa amalio yabere gakoira nabo ya mancho muna bakada utubwate asensemo chichi mitandao asensemo ya Facebook gwetera Ndizi TV News Digital nabega sensemeli ya YouTube gwetera Ndizi TV News asensemo ya website nabotonya gwetera www.ndizitv.net Amunchi muri ntwaranga maraiwense nabakagutalira sensemeri ya Mozambique bakaba bakumirana no maraiwense ile asbabete bagukwanira amangana mange anene ngakibagotinya obukoleri gati y'Ense chibere ase maraiwense abete kagutarasa etaro ya matukabere nabo igonto shikuliyelia ngambinto kibiri babete bagukwanira Asichinkwana chaye no maraiwense o Mozambique Felipe Nyusi babete bakurigerelia na kibakubwatrana nabo igokwene kyanga Ense ya Kenya nabo igo Mozambique ngotumekere ensemeri ya komesa erinde kwene kyanga uchumi ngo kinere gati y'Ense chibere boigo babete bakurigerelia asensemeri ye license naki omuntu kora sense ya Kenya maybe arabeka gutumika a driving license yaye senseri ya Mozambique yani tabwene tinga change atware eyenseri gomba bete bakurigerelia enganeyo enda kwenekia obokoreri obuyabo igomba bete bakurigerelia nakibara bwatrane asogokinia obonchereria gati y'Ense chibere naboigo kamba bete bakurigerelia mangana animono asoko eneke nga Ense chibere nkugachabale enibe bwenerete animono kerba enetinga obonchiria mbo chikokolekana asenchire ndonge kero kurigerelia nga umuraiwense yo Felipe Nyusi na bete kagukwanira asensemeri ya agro processing naboigo asensemo infrastructure nabega sensemeri ya production of flowers nakibago chigutinya obokolente tutaragumerana nero manchumulilia aratumanya gati y'ebintu biri babete bagukwanira asenseri amanyago kweresera sobwagale.
Excellency, Mr. President, we are confident that your visit will cement the bonds and the communion of Pan-Africanist ideas which stimulate brotherhood, solidarity, and the spirit of solidarity that unite us. There is a proverb which is common among those who share the Kiswahili language, which says, Mahaki ay marambiri, which means fortune doesn't come twice. So we wish to say, we mean by this that we need to take hold of the potentials that exist now because they are unique. We have an opportunity to make history with our cooperation. I end my remarks by reiterating on behalf of the people and the government that I lead our gratitude for having accepted to honor us with this state visit with clear objectives of strengthening, building of prosperity for our two peoples and countries. Mozambique and Kenya also share challenges in the process of building their nations, and your visit is a moment, an important moment to deepen these bonds. Therefore, I'm pleased to share the political and economic situation of Mozambique. On the political front, the country enjoys an environment of relative peace and stability with all state institutions of democratic and with the judiciary, the executive, and the parliament. Within the framework of strengthening the democracy, the country is preparing for local government elections on the 11th October in 65 cities and towns, and the registration process has begun, and groups of citizens and political parties have already submitted their candidatures as members of the municipality assemblies. Within the same vein of building democracy, the country is preparing itself for the next general elections, parliamentary, presidential, parliamentary, and provincial assembly elections on the specific situation of security in terms of the fight against terrorists, which are attacking some districts of Cabo Delgado province, combining multilateral and bilateral cooperation through SAMIM, SADC, and Rwanda. Our defense and security forces, supported by the local force, continue to pursue terrorists, and they've dislodged them from all districts that until 2021 they were occupying, because the challenges of fighting terrorists are common. They require concerted efforts even before a formal agreement in the area of defense and security. We've been working with your country, just benefiting from the Kenyan experience that has been suffering from this evil of terrorism. Allow me, through you, to thank and recognize the support by the Kenyan people. We have not only benefited from training, but we've also received humanitarian assistance from Kenya to mitigate the suffering of the people who are victims of terrorism and natural disasters.
Your visit to our country, which is the very first as the head of state, and also the first, a citizen from Kenya, has a special meaning which contributes to
and cooperation between the peoples and governments of the Republic of Mozambique and the Republic of Kenya in accepting and honoring our invitation. You show in an equivocal way that we are sisters and brother peoples, and we are building strong bridges which will result in a political diplomatic partnership which is consolidating itself every moment and having in view to generate benefits, economic benefits. It is in the context of this spirit that your state visit takes place will enable the exchange of experiences that will enable us to enhance our joint capacity to overcome national, regional, and international challenges in consolidating peace and bringing prosperity to the peoples of Mozambique and Kenya. With these few words, these introductory remarks, apart from welcoming you and reiterating wishes that make yourself at home, because you are already a municipality dweller of this, because you've been given the key at the municipality hall. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, Mozambique and Kenya have a lot in common. The two countries are united by the same Indian Ocean, which is a trade route. The Indian Ocean waters have witnessed the dynamism of the trade routes of different kingdoms of southern and eastern Africa. This maritime vicinity has also enabled exchanges, social and cultural exchanges that have crystallized bonds that are manifested through dances, languages, beliefs, and other expressions of the Bantu people. Our two countries and their people not only had exchanges amongst themselves, but also they have mixed themselves with peoples of other latitudes, such as Asians, Europeans, and this has formed a mixture, a melting pot. From Mombasa up to the Mozambican island, the two countries had the challenges of foreign colonial domination. Therefore, they walked the path of the struggle for independence. On the economic front, the country is committed to recovering the economy after COVID-19 and also post the impact of climate change that you have referred to, in addition to the challenges of terrorism. And this year we envisaged a growth of GDP above 5%, and we may even reach 7% by the end of the year. This is also a basis is sustained by the measures for the acceleration of the economy, which comprises fiscal measures and facilitation of business. Ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, during our talks this meeting, we shared concerns on the spreading of the terrorism phenomena in on the African continent, as well as armed conflicts and the security of Somalia, Sudan, Niger, the problem of unconstitutional changes of governments in Africa. Our feeling is we condemned in the strongest manner, and we've also pledged to contribute for the solution of these problems. We also share our warm desire that the Russian-Ukraine conflict is resolved as soon as possible, and we should encourage parties to dialogue, and they should put above all the interests of their people and those who are affected by the consequences of this conflict. We've also reviewed our cooperation, and we have noted that there are many achievements, but we've also noted that we need to speed up the pace, and therefore would like to commend the reviving of exchanges which are well structured and anchored on the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation, a session which was held before your visit. During the deliberations of the Joint Permanent Commission, advances in terms of cooperation between the two countries and people were consolidated in areas such as defense, security, tourism, agri-industry, trade, livestock, transport, agriculture, livestock, blue economy, health, education, youth, labor, sports, justice, among others. Within the framework of this visit, a number of legal instruments were signed, political instruments, which will guide our cooperation activities, and will bring a new momentum in our economic diplomacy, which with added gains for both countries. I'm referring to agreements on cooperation, on defense cooperation, and also for the transfer of sentenced people, and mutual legal assistance, and on criminal matters, memorandum of understanding on economic cooperation in the area of agriculture and livestock, and capacity development in the service, public service, and other instruments. Our two countries and their people not only had exchanges amongst themselves, but also they have mixed themselves with peoples of other latitudes, such as Asians, Europeans, and this has formed a mixture, a melting pot. From Mombasa up to the Mozambican island, the two countries had the challenges of foreign colonial domination. Therefore, they walked the path of the struggle for independence. There were very difficult struggles that required determination and the heroism of the best children so that we could achieve the victory. It is just by way of recalling the Arabi who have inspired the Mozambique Union Manual, a movement that was demanding the independence of Mozambique from the northern Mozambique. When destiny dictated that our country should conquer their independence in different moments, Kenya, your country, was the first to become free from the colonial domination. It is truly a sister and brotherly country of Mozambique, and it has hosted millions of Mozambicans who were running away from repression of the colonial and fascist regime, Portuguese regime. They worked and they lived and they inspired themselves so as to become the masters of their own destinies. And these citizens were hosted in the Kenyan territory, and they formed families and they integrated themselves in the Kenyan society, and they became citizens of that country. Within the framework of ending the protracted armed conflict of 16 years, the Republic of Kenya was one of the routes, with personalities from the government and private who have rendered their contribution until we went to Rome, where we signed the General Peace Agreement. With pleasure, we are pleased to note that citizens who live in Kenya were recognized as citizens of Kenya, and this was awarded by the Kenyan government as Kenyan citizens, and this has enabled them to enjoy rights like any Kenyan citizen, any Kenyan national. Today, the Makonde tribe that has benefited from this recognition is the newest ethnic group in the Republic of Kenya. This act has ended the feeling of exclusion that most of our compatriots were subject to. It was a gesture of solidarity and love which characterized the Ubuntu of the African people. In this innovation of the history of our nations, it is worth reminding that Mozambique and Kenya, as independent countries, made the first exchange visit in September 1996 with the state visit of His Excellency Daniel Arap Moi to Mozambique. The visits at different levels were resumed by your predecessor with the state visit that was held in 2018. The General Cooperation Agreement, which was signed in 2021 in Vilankulu, has created a wealth of opportunity for further exchanges and cooperation.
Eno Ense korwa asenseri ya Mozambique yobete kagukwanira gati ali babete bagukwanira engaki etaro yo Ense o Kenya ase chinsemo echo manchi muri area nabere inkoranga ekyombe kirike gusangirira bango KRA nigo gyachakire online auctioneering ase chi product chiryabere asegeka ase kago eli ya Mombasa, port eli ya Mombasa. Gochaka abachagita actually ritukore igoro. That was 14th of August. Wika chitariki emerongevere chumutinyiga. Auctioneering ya KRA manchi muri area neli bakonya konyoranga bintu mbirora byabete bikurukura chense chesko byabira se port ya Mombasa asigikegetambe including chigali igone chi product chinde nchiroro manchi muri gonyo gukatakete abako login gochia sense meri ose website ya KRA origerelia ngati chi product chiri batete ko ni wasatete ko auctioneering elinde obego kwenyorera a product yokondo manchi mulira ntetene toligeria sense moyo muraibense ekiralinga setaro ya sense meri ya Mozambique ningikiria betega korora senseli nabo igo ningikiria osemiro bilikeli babete bakobeka aso kubweterana na gutinyo bokoreri kurwase chinse chiribere nabo iga sense ya Kenya nake airanite ochagote abantu babe bakugache nibo nabo igo kwenekia ngango korabaro bonchire bwabo boikirano gati chinse chibere Kenya na Mozambique go manchi mulire ati atogendera gusanga elinde toigwa sense moyo muraibense nerena kyakwerera.
We still find challenges of barriers and roadblocks and bureaucracy around movement of goods and services in our continent. I know with your commitment the commitment of the people of this great nation, we will move towards a visa-free region and a visa-free continent. Kenya already made the decision 5 years ago that any African who wants to visit Kenya can acquire a visa at the airport in Nairobi. We are currently having a national conversation whether any African needs a visa at all, forget one at the airport. And I think by the end of this year, we will have made a decision, because we share history, we share culture, we share destiny, and it is in our place to begin to imagine a continent of brothers and sisters that does not have the limitations of barriers and boundaries and bureaucracy that impedes movement of people or goods or services. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect on this matter, the visa regime was introduced to us by our friends, largely from the West. Today, they have largely moved away from visa restrictions in their jurisdictions. For example, the EU of 27 countries have a single visa for 27 countries and 500 million people. And yet, we have been left stuck with visas, which they introduced and abandoned, and we are now victims and hostages of visas from one country to another. I think we need to do the right thing, because if those who introduce the visa find no meaning for it anymore, why should we? Your Excellency, I think this is a conversation that you and me and our other brothers in the continent need to have, so that we can unleash the full potential of the people of our continent, the people of our countries, to do the best to grow the opportunities that we have in our countries. Today, we held fruitful bilateral discussions and signed a number of critical instruments which will go a very long way to facilitate closer and easier interaction and collaboration in diverse sectors where our people, enterprises, and industries are pursuing different opportunities. Our joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation, which successfully negotiated these instruments, are also finalizing many others for implementation in due course. I'm very happy that when they reported to us that they had timelines for September, they have timelines for November, and it speaks to the commitment of our two countries to elevate our relations, which are strategic, to the next level. Tomorrow, we attend the Kenya-Mozambique Business Forum. I want to report to you, Mr. President, that already a huge contingent of Kenyan business people and investors and entrepreneurs have already arrived in this city, ready for tomorrow's meeting, where we will convene to consider emerging opportunities and possibilities from a strategic viewpoint. As you can see tonight, we stand on strong foundation of robust bilateral frameworks, firmly buoyed between a wonderful history of effective solidarity, impactful collaboration, and successful partnership, and also a bright future of abundant possibilities and tremendous opportunities. We are here to look upon these proud achievements and celebrate the spirit of mutual endeavor that made them possible and draw inspiration from them as we face an uncertain future in a complex, dynamic world with courage and resolve to succeed. I am very confident, Mr. President, that with the commitment that I see in you and your administration, we will not only build the necessary frameworks and partnerships to enable our business people in the private sector, but also in the public sector, to grow our economies, to create opportunities for employment of our young people, but also grow our economies in a manner that will help us deal with the challenge of poverty as we grow wealth in our continent. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which we are both signatories, both countries are signatories. The tripartite agreement, which again we have agreed that we are going to move it forward. The Afri-Exim program that makes it easier for our business people to trade by making it possible for our business people to trade in local currencies, are among the many instruments that we are putting in place to support the growth of enterprise and business in our continent as we forge ahead in dealing with the challenges that we have. This is what I see, Your Excellency, in the Kenya-Mozambique relations: a successful, opportunity-making partnership that is going places. And I am privileged to have the singular honor of leading this phase of our wonderful bilateral phenomenon with you, Your Excellency, on the other side. You are a very dear brother and true friend to me and to the people of Kenya, and your consideration does me and my country much honor, which I highly appreciate. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is again a proud moment for us to celebrate what has already been achieved by our predecessors, who made it possible for us to make it easier for citizens to travel between our countries, to make it easier for trade, for investments, for the movement of goods, for the movement of services between our two countries. And I want to commit that Kenya will continue to play our part in making sure that we build on this very solid foundation to take our country into the future, as we do our region and our continent as well. The bonds of culture and history between our two countries speak volumes of the possibilities that exist between our two nations. As you mentioned in your statement, Mr. President, Kenya participated in no small way in actualizing the struggle for independence of this great nation. And we are very, very proud of the achievements that have been made by the people of Mozambique ever since they became an independent nation. We congratulate you, Your Excellency, for finally, this year, bringing to an end the culture of violence in our politics. And we are proud of you. We commend all the leaders in Mozambique for embracing and celebrating the democratic credentials of your country. We are great believers, Your Excellency, that as a continent, the same way we said no to colonial domination that was imposed on us by force, violence must never have a place in the governance, in the politics, and in the political discourse of any nation. And we congratulate you for bringing the culture of violence around our politics to an end in Mozambique. We celebrate that achievement, that you, Mr. President, became the president that brought this to an end. You have our support, you have our prayers as a continent as we march on as democratic countries. Our strategic partnership has been singularly successful in many domains, and we have much to show for it. I bring warm greetings and messages of goodwill from your brothers and sisters, the people of Kenya. I'm informed that over 1,000 Kenyans have made Mozambique their home, where they live in, and they do so in peace and security and pursue their livelihoods without let or hindrance. Likewise, members of the Mozambican diaspora have become full citizens of Kenya and excellent ambassadors of their brothers and sisters over here. Mozambique has therefore made a unique contribution to the diversity, strength, and resilience of the Kenyan nation. I know you know this, Your Excellency, because when you visited Kenya, you had the occasion to speak to the Makonde people, who unfortunately cannot vote for you anymore because they are now Kenyans. I want to commit to you the partnership and the cooperation of the government and people of Kenya in dealing with the challenge of organized crime, terrorism, and violent extremism, so that we can stabilize our region, secure our countries, and provide the best possible opportunity for growth in our nations.
Mwanchi umurigereria wikira gabo no tugwikira omoerio bumurubiri bw'erituko ria rero tumirane erituko ria Ijuma ase turabe tugusanga asobwa mombia muno sana ase bali bonsi mwabere mukubwatia omurubiri bwense yobonchiria bono mambia kulende Mosca monyegera genda kubwatia emerubirinde megetesene kia Ndizi TV asinsemo chichi mitandao asinsemo ya Facebook na bakogenda kutubwatia wetra Ndizi TV News Digital na bagasensemeria YouTube wetra Ndizi TV News asinsemo ya website na bakotanya wetra www.ndizitv.net Fridah Kerubo na magechi kamera soko nikuna chibicha aliye gwikira soya senchira ya bene ama Abigail enda gotengera egetaseni kia Ndizi TV obona bubwansu bwo Gusii.